My name is Viktor Lapotishkin, and I come from Bulgaria. I'm a sixth semester student enrolled in the Value Chain Management program in the University College in Horsens. I love making music, but occasionally I like to play a game or two. Which leads us to the next slide, which happens to be the theme of the presentation. So, my presentation will be about my research project. The theme of the research project is user-driven innovation in game development. In short, the research has to give us better knowledge and insights on how user-driven innovation can be developed and sustained by good customer relations and value-adding processes. The best way to begin with would be an introduction of the company I conducted my research on. The company is called Riot Games. They are an American video game publisher established back in 2006 in Santa Monica, California. Riot Games was founded as an independent studio by Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill. The company announced its first game, League of Legends: Clash of Fate, in October 2008, but released the game in October 2009 simply as League of Legends. Their game uses free-to-play model, which is supported by microtransactions rather than advertisements. It is a multiplayer online battle arena game very similar to the previously released World of Warcraft from Blizzard Entertainment. Not long ago, a major stake from the company was bought from the Asian giant Tencent, which leads us to our next slide. I have conducted my research theoretically with my own hypothesis on the research questions, based on the articles, interviews, and literature on innovation. I have chosen the company as an example because I think it best shows how users drive innovation. It represents how the user felt the need to change, and that change led the user to become the innovator. In my research, I will try to answer three questions. What was innovative about League of Legends? What does collaboration have to do with innovation? How can we hypothetically quantify innovation? In order to understand and reach the research questions, first I had to answer two more stated in the introduction of the project. My approach on the research starts with a quick overview of who were the owners. There are two lifelong friends who happen to be hardcore gamers also. In an interview, they state that game companies have not been player-oriented, so they felt the need to focus their strategy on satisfying the customer. So, hypothetically, how did they sense the need to change? As I said previous, in order to answer the research questions, I had to answer two more. How did the company overtake their competitors so fast, and how did competition turn into advantage? Simply, the company have already had an overview of their market segment from the previous game, World of Warcraft, so they managed to catch the moment in which players needed to change, so they turned their competitor into their advantage for their business. And that's where, actually, Eric von Hippel's theory comes into practice. The user felt the need to change, so he became the innovator. So we come down to our first research question. What was innovative about League of Legends? One of the key processes of the company is adding value to the customer. By the game being free to play and free to download, including more than 100 characters until this day, they have proved that not price, but value is the essential element in their business. Reaching an annual income of $200 million in 2013 by simply having microtransactions from fans indicates for me that the loyalty, trust, and satisfaction of the customer is at high levels, which leads us to our next question. What does collaboration have to do with innovation? Well, the owners, as said before, are gamers also, so they know what customers may want. But continuous improvement in customer relationships management and community staff which interacts with customers makes them able to directly collaborate with end users and lead users, not only to improve games, but also upgrade them. They can not only make improvements, but also create new characters, new maps, new types of gameplay, and many other innovative services for these types of games. Through articles and literature, I tried to find a way to quantify innovation, but of course I failed. So I tried to imagine how can innovation be hypothetically quantified. With the company as an example, I found out that each metric for quantifying is different for each organization. So I answered the question basically by qualifying the quantity. and the quantity being the weight of all people who contribute to the development and sustain the organization's innovation process, either from outside of the company and inside. The whole process is not as easy as it sounds. Organizations and companies are responsible for their own metrics of quantifying innovation. To reflect back on the research, I can say that it was conducted based on theory and few numerical data, which cannot help us understand quantification of innovation quite easy, but at least it gives us an idea on what do we want to know about our innovation program. The research also presents user-driven innovation at its best, simply by adding value and collaborating with the customer. To make the conclusion of the research project, I will try to answer the three research questions. What was innovative about League of Legends? The value the company made to its customers, the combination of something old but familiar with something new, and the transition from user to innovator. What does collaboration have to do with innovation? Customer relationships management is an important part of the innovation process, and it's positive to sustain. People and joint ideas create innovation. How can we hypothetically quantify innovation? By having organizations understand what is happening within its innovation program. By observing, involving, and interacting with customers to better understand their needs and wants, and best answer questions which the organization finds important to sustain and have the best out of their innovation process.